Hey guys, and welcome to this video on the annular solar eclipse that we have happening on the 2nd of October 2024. Thanks for joining me. It's a pleasure to be with you today. The chart you see next to me here, that's a snapshot of the sky at the moment this solar eclipse will happen. So I'm going to analyze the chart to see how the planets interact, what energy they create amongst themselves, and how that will influence you. But then I'm going to go through all the 12 signs as well. I'll go through from Aries through to Pisces to give you a specific message for your sign, so you have an idea of what area of your life is supported by this eclipse. I made the video on the lunar eclipse that we had on the 17th/18th of September, depending on your time zone. I made that yesterday. And the moon in astrology is about your heart and it's your feeling. So that was a full moon that was interrupted by the eclipse. And I made a separate video on that. Have a look if you're interested, because eclipses always come in twos. And the lunar eclipse was very much about coming out of this state of fantasy and inaction and rejoining humanity and starting to take real action in order to affect real change. So with that lunar eclipse, you're really supported on an emotional level to not just dream, but to actually do. And this solar eclipse then, the sun is your head, it's your conscious identity, it's what feels joyful, and it's what you're striving towards in astrology. So this is a new moon in Libra. So the moon and the sun are conjunct at 10 degrees in Libra, but it is interrupted by this eclipse process. So in terms of where you can see this, if you're in the northern hemisphere, I don't think you can see it anywhere. I looked it up earlier and it said Argentina and Chile. So if you're in those areas, please take some pictures and let us know. So this new moon then is interrupted, and a new moon usually is when the heart and the head are very close together and there's perfect communication between the two. So that applies here too, but because it's an eclipse, the energy that's created here is likely to last for 6 months, so until March, April next year, when we'll have the next lot of eclipses, lunar and solar again. So, looking at these eclipses is really, really significant in terms of the astrology, because it really gives us a flavor of what the next 2 seasons are all about. And I mentioned this in the lunar eclipse video as well, but on the 22nd of September, we have the equinox. So if you're in the northern hemisphere, it's the autumn equinox. This energy will impact you autumn, winter. If you're in the southern hemisphere, it's the spring equinox, and you'll have access to this, in your case, spring, summer, moving forward. Okay, so let's look at the specifics then. I mentioned that the sun and the moon are at 10 degrees. 10 reduces to 1 in numerology, and 1 is the vibration of the pioneer, the person who's in charge, the boss. But that is very aligned with the new moon in itself, because the new moon goes pitch black. It takes a bit of a time out, and before starting its next 28-day cycle, or here in this case the next 6-month cycle, it really kind of pulls all this energy in. It takes a moment to get its bearings and to say, before I rush off in a new direction, what do I actually want to be looking at, right? So new moon in itself is pioneering. This being at 10 degrees is very much about, what am I now going to do? Where am I going to act? And Libra is wonderful because it's the 7th sign of the zodiac. And if you look at the glyph of Libra, it's like a bridge with a bump in it. So you've come from this place of, okay, I feel strong enough. I want to face reality and make things better for myself and take these marvelous actions. This solar eclipse then says, okay, what are you going to connect to? What area of your life? Is it work? Is it your health? Is it relationships? Is it spiritual development? And that looks very different for each one of the signs. So have a look at that at the end of this video. I'll put timestamps again for each sign. But this is now really prompting you to take the bull by the horns and to say, I have a great oversight, or I understand where I'm at. I feel like I want to do something that I genuinely care about. And how do I now make that initial contact in order to work towards ultimately my goal? So you're getting all of this wonderful energy here. Libra is in the element of air. It's with communication, ideas, thinking. It's ruled by Venus, the planet of love and beauty and creativity. So Libra is very much about the community, and it's being able to connect to other people very well, to express your ideas, and to also take circumstances which may be ho-hum and to transform them into something marvelous and exceptional. It's that element of what is going to be attractive to myself and other people. So then this is a solar eclipse on the south node, the eclipses are always either on the south or the north node. And if I'm looking at your birth chart, those two are very telling as to where you're coming from on a spiritual level and the direction you're moving into, right? Whereas in this case, having the eclipse on the south node, it's about letting go of something. It's about releasing and lightening the load. And that makes sense because you're prompted to connect with something new and to take action and to pour a lot of energy into that. At the same time, you're able to look at the things which may have run their course, connections that you've made in the past. And again, it can be any aspect of life, your connection to nature or your connection with education and study. Something is likely to have concluded, and the prompt here is to connect with something new and to act in that particular direction. Then next to it, we have Black Moon Lilith, also at 10 degrees in Libra. And again, if I'm looking at your natal chart, Black Moon Lilith and Chiron, those are the two parts of the chart where I can really see the shadow self at work and where it tries to hold you back. Same thing here, because it is such a powerful new moon in Libra and it's an eclipse. Black Moon Lilith is right there and it says, oh no, don't take a risk. Don't expand and learn new things and make new connections. Feel anxious about that, feel unsafe, and continue to keep things small and risk-free. Now, the good thing about the lunar eclipse that we had recently, you're likely not to listen to that voice and instead to kind of say, do you know what, there may be risk involved, the outcome isn't guaranteed, but I'm here right now, and I want to connect with something that's meaningful in life. So I think the influence of Black Moon Lilith here is somewhat mitigated. We also have the Mercury, the communication planet, at 11 degrees in Libra. That's 1 degree away from this new moon. So Mercury, the communication planet, rules Gemini and Virgo. When it's in Gemini, an air sign like Libra, it's about expressing, it's about analyzing a situation and then acting to find a solution. In Virgo, it's about research and study and coming up with meaning, right? So Mercury in Libra here is really able to express its ideas beautifully. If you're a writer or if you're a creative type, working around this time is going to be really significant in the work that you produce, so the action you take there, right? But it can also be in a more abstract sense as you become the author and the writer of your own life story, and you now let go of a connection that again is no longer needed and required, and you decide to be of service to yourself by connecting with something that you feel has a lot of promise moving forward. Juno is at 18 degrees in Libra, so it's really the process of being in this very balanced state. You could also look at the bridge of Libra as the scales, which is really what it's based on. And if you think about this time of year, it's the change of seasons, right? So I'm in the UK. Here, as soon as we hit September, it got really cold. I'm lucky to get a nice sunny day. But it is this intermediary place where we're not quite in one season or the other, we're transitioning between the two, right? So there's more balance than usual. And because of that, there's more balance in you as well. Your heart and your head are really talking to each other. You can see what your options are, and it's now easy to choose what is going to have some sort of meaning moving forward. Hello, doggy. Hello, doggy. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 things in Libra here. So this is very much about how do I take the self that's in one place and connect it to things that are outside of me. So the self in connection to others. We also have Venus nearby. Venus is the ruler of Libra, and that's at 11 degrees in Scorpio. So when Venus is in Scorpio, it's very intense, right? Scorpio is about getting to the truth of the matter on an emotional, intuitive level, uncovering hidden secrets, and really gaining an understanding of this is where I'm at. So again, like Mercury, it's at 11 degrees. 11 is the master number of service. So you will really know your own heart and be consciously aware of it, and then find these tendrils of interest that you can connect yourself to. The moon in itself, though, it forms several relationships on its own. So first of all, it opposes the north node at 6 degrees in Aries. So again, the north node is the direction we're moving into, right? At 6 degrees in Aries, I want to create an opportunity to make independent choices, to have a sense of freedom in my life, and to move forward in a way that I see fit. So it's the solution to the balance but sometimes indecisiveness of Libra, because Libra looks at absolutely everything before it makes a choice. I think Libra is watching, you guys, I've heard this, but you guys get criticized for being indecisive. I don't really agree with that. I just think you take your time looking at the best possible option and then coming to the best solution for you, rather than just trying something, seeing if it works out, and then having to undo it if it doesn't work. So the combination of all that Libra then and the North Node in Aries really allows you to say, I will act, and this is crystal clear, this is what I'm most interested in right now, and this is where I can express all of this energy. We've got Neptune next to it. Neptune is the outer planet of, it's like the net, the connection that we all have between us as human beings on a spiritual level. And that is on top of the North Node, so the direction you're going into, again, is more connection. Neptune is at 28 degrees in Pisces, so it's both the connection to the higher realms, which are really supporting you in now coming out of your shell and making it a real thing, whatever that thing may be. But also, Neptune at 28 degrees becomes 10, another 1 in numerology, and it's acting on your hopes and dreams, not someone else's, and really being so aware of those hopes and dreams that they feel almost tangible and real. So this whole eclipse season is first and foremost about having the sense of security that life can change, and that if you're not powerless, and that if you do act, things will alter, right? This then is the prompt to make a choice on your own independently, saying this is the thing that promises the most, or that seems to have most promise to me, therefore I'm going to take a risk and pursue that direction. And that's the key here. To act is better than to continue to research. We also have then the new moon, the eclipse, forming a square with Mars at 15 degrees in Cancer and Hades at 14 degrees in Cancer. So Mars is the personal planet of drive, ambition, masculinity, what I want, what I'm not going to compromise on. But it's not in Aries, the sign of rules, it's in Cancer, the fourth sign of the zodiac. And that's much more about, I'm going to take the initiative to take care of other people, to put other people before myself. And usually, if I see Mars in Cancer in a birth chart, I can often see it as frustration, as like steam coming out of the ears. I want to do all of these great things, but I can't until I've taken care of everyone else in my life. So usually I would say it's a bit of a challenge, the red planet in a water sign, particularly Cancer. But here in this case, again, it allows you not only to connect either to a new person or an institution or university or nature or anything outside of yourself, but it allows you to connect from this place of, I want to contribute something to this situation. I want to be of service. So I'm not just connecting because I want to get. I'm connecting because I want to take action to improve my own life. And if along the road of that, I can help other people along the way and I can be of service to them, then not only is that a bonus, that is the ideal situation. Hades at 14 degrees in Cancer. Again, that's, I think, the shadow self's attempt at holding you back by saying, oh, no. I can't do anything to change my life until everyone that I know in my life is doing well and great and they have no concerns. I mean, it goes without saying, I suppose, but that is not likely to happen anytime soon. So the key thing is to again, look at the areas that you want to connect to, and you're going to approach that in the right way, ensuring success or a successful connection. Then we have the eclipse forming a sesqui square with the part of fortune in Taurus at 20 degrees and Uranus at 26 degrees in Taurus. So the part of fortune is an Arabic part that I've added here, and it's the area of greatest luck. It's calculated by the position of the sun and the moon, right? 22, 1 and 2 is a relationship, and Taurus is the real world. So again, this isn't about dreaming, considering, it's about I am taking the action steps to realize my desire. And Uranus is the planet of the chaotic and the unpredictable and the miraculous, and the thing that ought to be impossible but isn't. And at 26 degrees in Taurus, again in the fixed earth sign, 2 and 6 being 8, at 8 degrees, your power, your strength, this is your opportunity to redesign your own life and to throw your existing circumstances up in the air in order for them to be replaced by something that you feel is more valuable and solid at this point in your life now. So it's really crunch moments. It's time to act. It's time to just go in one direction and to say it's now or never, and I'm just going to do it. Let's see. We also have the eclipse forming a sextile with Pallas at 7 degrees in Sagittarius. And this is the inner wisdom that I can't just be in my own little bubble my whole life and dream these wonderful dreams of what could be and who I could become. It's much wiser to try and actually engage with the world and to train and to get real knowledge and expertise, which I can then use to influence the world and to have an impact on this blue planet I'm in and to feel like my life has meaning. So you're really tapping into that wisdom of action over dreaming, which I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with dreaming. Dreaming is required for anything creative, or if you want to manifest things, you have to dream about what those things could look like before you can work towards them, right? But what I mean by this is it's a dream that prevents you from actually attaining that thing in a real life sense. I don't know what the word for that would be. Letting your dreams consume you and pull you away from the action and more into your own isolated fantasy world, whereas this is the opposite. It's about having the courage to now come out of the fantasy world, to act, to create the actual world, your life, as the fantasy, but to live it rather than to just watch it or imagine it. It's really intense. And if you've wanted to change your life for a long time but have felt unable to, this is your time to connect, to make it happen, and to see one area or two or three really blossom as a result of these decisions that you make now. Let's see, the other planets in Libra, they form a square with the midheaven in Capricorn at 22 degrees. If I'm looking at your birth chart again, the midheaven is noon. If you look at the wheel of the chart, it's like a clock, right? The ascendant or the rising is sunrise, midheaven is noon, the descendant is sunset, and the IC is the middle of the night. And each of the angles really means something, as in the rising is your default setting a lot of the time. The midheaven at noon, most people are out of bed and are busy doing something, and that is associated with what you're naturally best at. And the descendant is what you're striving towards, what you'd like to attain. The IC is what makes you feel like you're home and you're rooted. So the midheaven in this case being in the sign of the worker, Capricorn, perfect actually, because Capricorn can be shown as this goat with a fishtail. It can do the actual work on earth, but it can also do the inner work, for instance, to overcome laziness and to actually get hands-on. 22 is the master number of the builder. So I can't underline this enough, and I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself over and over, but this is the time to act. It's really the time to start building on the foundations of this new life that you want to create. Anything else? Let's see. Yes, the South Node trines Pluto 29 degrees in Capricorn. Pluto is retrograded back into Capricorn, and it's going to stay in Capricorn until the 19th of November. Then it moves back into Aquarius, which is a much better fit if you ask me. And check out that video on Pluto going into Aquarius that I made in January this year. I really go into a lot of detail because we're entering this 20-year chunk of Pluto being in Aquarius, except this 3-month period from September, October to the 19th of November. This is the last time that we'll see the transformation planet in this sign of the worker. And here it's in retrograde, so the transformation can come from within. 29 again is 11, master number of service. In Capricorn, I am able to help myself out by shifting or restructuring the foundations of my life so that the environment actually feels and looks like one that I want to be in. So this is really the most hands-on, conscious kind of astrological event that says it's time for you to come into your own and to make these things that you have fantasized about and to make them a reality. It's time to go for it. It's going to work in your favor. Okay, then we also have Jupiter. That's the planet of good luck, good fortune, and growth. It's at 21 degrees, 3, communication, new beginnings, in Gemini, a sign ruled by Mercury, and it trines Black Moon Lilith and Mercury and the new moon and the South Node in Libra. So Jupiter in Gemini, I think, is a great combination because what is growing and what's expanding all the time are your options. If you look at Gemini, it's like a doorway. So things that have seemed closed to you, by analyzing them now, they will start to open. So even finding the direction that you want to connect to isn't going to be particularly difficult. Then if you look at the center of the wheel, we have a grand trine, which is a big blue triangle, right? It connects Mars and Hades in Cancer with Saturn at 14 degrees in Pisces. That then trines Venus at 11 degrees in Scorpio, and it trines back to Mars in Cancer, and then we have this big blue triangle. And a grand trine is always an area of talent. If you have a grand trine in your natal chart, again, that's something that you're naturally going to be very good at. So the talent here is all this water. Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer. And water is, unsurprisingly, the element that has to do with connection, either to source, the universe, other people, yourself, creativity, your imagination, healing. It's all about this connection. And then with everything else I've mentioned, it's about jumping forward and taking steps into the area of your life that you have chosen for yourself. Then if we have two sextiles sitting on top of a grand trine like this, it becomes a kite, which is an even stronger kind of talent. And it's a little bit squished here, but I tend to be quite generous with that. So the two sextiles appear from Uranus and Taurus. Yeah, so it's, oh, there's another grand trine. Another grand trine. The second grand trine, another area of talent, is this one that connects Vesta in Virgo with the rising in Taurus, and then Pluto and the midheaven in Capricorn. So this talent is Earth. Earth is about taking the action steps. It's another feminine element like water. So it's about letting yourself be influenced by your heart, your imagination, your connection to your higher self, and then letting that emotion, that vision of truth spill out into the physical world, which is waiting there, like with a bowl or a cup in its hand, waiting you to put your stuff in there so it can live and grow on Earth. I know that sounds very elevated and a little impractical, but it's basically like take the dream and make it happen now. That's your talent. And then on top of that grand trine, we do have those two sextiles, which make it a kite, a talent that is exceptional. And it connects Neptune at 28 degrees in Pisces. So more water. So it's the combination of earth and water. That reality, your inner world, the outer world are malleable. You can mold them into whatever it is you want so that you're in a scenario that you actually love and enjoy. Okay, so that is the chart. Let me go through each sign of the zodiac, and I think I might turn around so you guys get to see something else. Hang on. See if this will work. Can you see behind me here? There's this church called St. Gregory the Great, but it's not really very good. No. Okay. Oh, okay. Right, so let's see. Each sign of the zodiac then. Aries. For the next 6 months, you're going to find life much more straightforward and simple when it comes to your relationships. It's going to be much more easy and enjoyable. You're going to have a balanced approach, and you're going to find it a lot easier to establish new friendships, partnerships, or business relationships. So Aries, you'll notice that the reception to you and your actions is more secure and balanced, and that you kind of get a warm welcome, particularly in the area of relationships, personal and business related. Taurus, for you, it's really time to put the finishing touches on the business plan, or the book that you've been writing, or the application that you're filling in. and to send these off now and to get them realized now. So for you, the place to act is the world of money and business. Any ideas that you have around work, money, or improving your daily routine, all of those are best actioned now. Gemini. For you, this is the start of a much lighter perspective on your own life and on your own experience. Wounds from the past are going to seem a lot less interesting. Instead, you'll be focused on what you love right now and how you can bring even more of that into your everyday experience. So ultimately, Gemini, what you get access to is an optimism that stems from an improved perspective on yourself, which then transfers onto other people, making it much easier to connect with others. So it's great for any Gemini who's single and looking, or for any Gemini who has moved to a new place and is looking to make new connections, new friendships. You'll find that very easy over the next 6 months. Cancer, you may experience this as a release of an inner burden that you've carried around for a long, long time. You may find that certain expectations you've had for your own life and what is absolutely necessary, as in what I must have, what I'm never going to budge from, that now naturally changes and is replaced by a humbler sense of acceptance. So in your case, less desire then equals less pain, and there's a lot less pressure on yourself. Leo, you may find this eclipse energizing to the point of restlessness. You're going to find this incredibly motivating, and it's going to create a desire to expand your horizons through travel, study, and by connecting with other people. So your areas of connection are really the 9th house of making everything bigger through knowledge and talking and visiting different places. Anything that's made you feel isolated or stuck is likely to fall away during this eclipse, and these next 6 months are really going to see you being much more open and willing to connect in those particular areas of life. And it's great for any Leo who wants to go back to school, who wants to move house, or to make new friendships, new connections with people. Virgo, you may have a total epiphany about your life purpose and or your career. Sometimes the life purpose is separate from the career, sometimes they're one and the same. The epiphany is going to come either way. You're in a really good spot to make these changes in your life, and it's the best possible time to send out the applications for the new position or to start the side gig, again, to act now on making it real. Any suggestions in work or moves to change your role are also likely to be received warmly by your superiors, by the people you're working for. So put yourself out there and see major improvements happen as a result. For you, Virgo, really the main thing that you can benefit from and make happen for yourself, where the planets really support you for the next 6 months, is creating a better income for yourself, creating more abundance and prosperity. You have the diligence, the hard work, the practicality. You can really transform that and make it much more rewarding for yourself. Libra, this is your eclipse and your energy that's being pulled in by this new moon. So for you, that's going to create a sense of well-being, but the next 6 months will be a blessed period when it comes to your relationships, Libra. Because for you, this is going to be so easy, you'll be able to connect with anybody in a meaningful way. Simply, first and foremost, before you go out and connect with all these people, get clear on what or who you want to manifest and put it out into the universe during this eclipse. Like a little ritual or a meditation may be a good idea, even like a collage, putting the images that you want to manifest, sticking them on paper so you have a mental image of it. Plant the seed during this eclipse, this new moon pulling all your energy in, and you're going to plant seeds and watch them grow over the next 6 months that will heal your life in many, many areas. Whatever you want to improve, you really, really can. Scorpio, you may find that you gain acceptance around something in your life that feels like an ongoing thorn in your side, that you've been unable to do something about. So you can't solve the problem, you can't ignore it, you can't get rid of it, and it's something that constantly annoys you. If that's, like most of us, we have certain things that just are the way they are, right? And we try and work towards them. You'll find that you have acceptance that, hey, maybe this is the way it's supposed to be. That kind of thinking isn't always appropriate, I think. Let me know what your ideas around that in the comment. But by simply accepting something, it's going to free up a lot of your energy. And that acceptance, in this case, is kind of ironic, because once you accept that this thorn in your side is going to stay there, that's much more likely to lead you to find a solution to that problem and to lead you towards a place where you can unburden yourself over the next 6 months. So do it for yourself emotionally first, and the actuals, the real life things, they will follow. Sagittarius, you really regain your confidence in the most sensational way here during this eclipse, and you can really detach from the past and start fresh, start over. This works especially well if you've had a particular dream for work and relationships and you've given up on realizing that dream. Life got too difficult, it's never going to happen. You may find the original desire revisit you, and if you give in to it, you'll take the steps towards accomplishing it and you'll get the outcome that you wanted in the first place, and that happens over the next 6 months. So Sagittarius, never give in, ever. Keep going. Capricorn, you may find this a little much because you'll have to multitask. You're very, very likely during this period to be doing amazing work, but you're also likely to have a lot of work as far as your personal relationships are concerned that may require your attention and may feel like work. So the simple acknowledgement that I can multitask, it's not my favorite thing to do, but I will. And I'm just thinking about the goat with the fishtail. I mean, I think you work so hard that multitasking is something that you can do, but I think it's one thing after the next with Capricorn. But realizing here that you can multitask, but that there's a limit to how many things you can do at once, is going to help you do well in the areas that take up the majority of your focus, and you're not taking on more than you can handle. So I think for you, it's just important to look at your priorities and to say, if I am now jumping into action and making things happen for myself, that I'm not taking on too much, that I'm not starting 5 businesses on one day. Just start the one, take that forward, and then do the next. And for Capricorn, I don't know who needs to hear this, but I've written here, not everything is your responsibility, Capricorn. You don't need to sort out absolutely everything. Aquarius, you may find a new desire for spiritual growth and progress. Allow yourself to look into any areas or modalities that interest you. So Tai Chi, Qigong, meditation, yoga, Pilates, chanting, even creative stuff like painting, dancing. Ultimately, anything that allows you to tap into your own inner voice. The universe has a message for you during this eclipse about a way that you can use to create real security for yourself in terms of finances, in terms of actuals. So please pay attention to what that specific message is during this eclipse, and also maybe do a little meditation and say, hey universe, what is it that you're trying to tell me here? Pay attention to that message, and it can really change your life if you then act upon it. But for you guys, because you're the source of all ideas, I think this is something that's going to come through very, very specifically for you. Yikes. Oh, bugs on me. Pisces, take your idea or product and pitch it to interested parties now. The next 6 months are a real opportunity for you to heal your finances by creating more income. Especially supported are individual projects or your intellectual property that can be used to create a product or a service, which then leads to income. So if you've got something on your own that you've created that's ready to go, email as many people as possible during this eclipse, and you'll receive 1 or more positive responses to get this thing actioned and get it going. Okay guys, so I hope that gives you an idea of what you'll be working with during this eclipse. If I were to summarize it, I would really say, again, for all the signs, get organized and balanced, see things clearly, and be of service to yourself and others. And yeah, I hope this gives you an idea of what's coming up and what this offers. If you would like a personal reading with me, please get in touch via my website. It's gregoryscott.com. On the front page, just scroll down a little bit until you get to the button that says book your reading. Click on that to audio reading with me. And to draw up your birth chart, I need your place of birth, date of birth, and time of birth. If you don't have the time of birth, which quite a few people don't have, then there's something called chart rectification. It's a process where I can actually work out your time of birth. So if you'd like me to do that before I read your chart, also get in touch via the website, please, gregoryscott.com. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, please, so it shows up in searches. Subscribe to the channel for more videos, and check out some of the other videos I've done. Check out the lunar eclipse, because like I said, they do always come in pairs, right? Check out that one. I do a daily tarot reading on the channel as well. Please consider becoming a member of the channel. It's very, I would say, accessible, and those daily readings are every day that I do them. So if you'd like to see those, please become a member. And finally, in my personal readings, I do use astrology, the tarot, numerology, and my intuition, and I combine them all like I've done here in the chart. So if a planet is as at a certain degree, I look at the number meaning as well as the planet and the sign. So if there's anything you'd like me to look at in terms of your life, if you're going through big changes, you want to see when the best times are to make certain changes happen, or what's kind of destined in particular areas of your life, like relationships or money or friendships, spiritual growth and development, anything at all, please do get in touch with me for a personal reading via the website, gregoryscott.com. Have a wonderful time during this eclipse, and I will speak to you soon for the other videos that I do. The next thing I'm doing is the monthly horoscopes for October, which again I'm going to split down into 4 weeks, because you guys seem to like that, to kind of allow you to plan for the month ahead. So watch this space for those coming soon. Have a great time, and I'll speak to you soon. All the best. Take care.